Yeah, next up on our agenda is the meta relevancy of Ho-Oh, right? So where's Ho-Oh good? What's its place in the meta? Is it a good attacker, right? So I made graphs for well, I guess technically 5 raids that I felt that Ho-Oh kind of stands out in a little bit. And I'm gonna start with the best one first, right? The best one, right? So Heavy Slam Machamp is where it's getting the most swag in, right? And you're seeing this here. Ho-Oh, what? Better than the champion Lugia, right? So, Lugia thought it was the best, Machamp raid counter. Well, it was the best, minus now, because now Ho-Oh's the best. Against Heavy Slam, right? So, I don't know, I'm totally not going to tell people to dump Candy and Stardust into Ho-Oh, specifically for this Heavy Slam raid, if they have Lugia. But there are a lot of people out there, but believe it or not, there are a lot of Pogo players that don't have a Lugia. They weren't playing during the event that had Lugia, or maybe newer players that are getting caught up in the game, and they missed out on Lugia. So if they don't have a Lugia, and they are having trouble against their solo attempts against Machamp, it could be worthwhile for them to power up Ho-Oh. But another thing to consider is Niantic said that sometime in December, probably late December, but who knows, they might surprise us, they're going to have that Gen 3 drop. And will, Machamp still be a raid boss then? Who's to say? Will it have Heavy Slam still? I don't know. So I really do caution against, dumping a bunch of Candy and Stardust into Ho-Oh, because as I carry on with this analysis of Ho-Oh here, letting you know where it is in the meta, you're going to find that it's kind of suboptimal in a lot of situations, so it's like, yeah, it definitely has that poor moveset syndrome. And then Niantic also nerfed it by 9% like they did with Mewtwo. So yeah, Ho-Oh really does struggle to stand out in a lot of situations, but in this particular situation, like, whoa, rocking it, right? Even more TDO than Lugia. Like, a level 30 is better than a level 31.5? Whoa! Well, that's because Ho-Oh meets a breakpoint a little bit earlier there, so don't be too fooled, right? But yeah, Moltres is definitely here in the Heavy Slam raid as well, as sort of like a anchor or tank kind of person for people that don't have, Lugia or Ho-Oh, or like an alternative extra kind of tank to coincide with their Lugia, So it has some swag there, but our new Firebird boy, right, is even at level 30, it's better than that level 40 iteration, right? So, rocking it. So yeah, I don't know. Your mileage may vary if you do power up a Ho-Oh for this raid. It definitely is a good option here. But like, man, I really do. Like, powering up Lugia, I can advise, because, Lugia kind of has some other niche uses as well. But like, yeah, I don't know, man. Ho-Oh is kind of a tough sell. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's really one of those wait and see kind of situations, because we're so dang close to Gen 3, Now you might be wondering, like, well, this is Heavy Slam Machamp. Well, how's it doing against the other Machamps? So this is a Dynamic Punch Machamp here. Got Dynamic Punch Machamp graph. And here's the Lugias. Here's level 31.5 Lugia. And you might be thinking, like, Ryan Swag, did you just not put Ho-Oh on this graph? Well, no, I did. It's back over here, right? And it's still pretty good. It's still a pretty decent option, because, so, like, this 20 TDO, that represents, like, the Pokemon does, like, a fifth of the damage to the raid boss before they faint. A little bit more invisible is, like, the 16 to 17, which is about here. If you pass this line I'm making with my mouse, right, like 17, 16 range, then it takes, like, your full party to maybe solo it, right? So it's still kind of like a useful tank kind of situation to have that level 30 plus Ho-Oh there, because it is going to put you more into that, 5 or less Pokemon to clear the raid challenge kind of range. But definitely, like, infinite value with the Lugia, though. Like, Lugia is the raid maker for Machamp overall, so I definitely, if you do want to power up something to help you solo Machamp better, I would advise Lugia way more than I would Ho-Oh. But Ho-Oh, this is time to shine. This is a situation where it comes in and really rocks it. How does Ho-Oh compare to Lugia as, like, a tanky flying type? You know, how does Ho-Oh compare to Moltres as a fire type, right? Well, what better to compare them with than a Victory Bell one, right? Victory Bell. So these are all the different movesets. So it includes the poison ones as well. Averaged together, you know, Pokebattler is pretty nice about giving that information now. Kind of eclipsed here is Mewtwo is Psychic at the top for the DPS. You got Moltres leading the charge, you know, with those strong fire type attacks. Entei kind of trailing behind. And then you dip down here, and then you see Ho-Oh, and this is Ho-Oh with Extra Sensory and Fire Blast, right? And then backing it up is Ho-Oh down here with Brave Bird. So in situations where like you're getting super effective damage against grass and bug type Pokemon, Fire Blast is going to be much better than Brave Bird because it's got better DPS. So that also means in neutral matchups, Fire Blast will be doing better too if you're attacking something neutrally with Ho-Oh. Yeah, Ho-Oh has a bit of swag here, but not too much. Once again, it doesn't like hold a candle to Moltres and Entei, who do this job better, you know, but it is a decent alt option. I don't know if I was going to be rating Victory Bell, if you were ever inspired to do that, you know, I don't have a Moltres or an Entei powered up, but I wouldn't be powering up a Ho-Oh for it. I just use my Flareon squad, and I have like one good Charizard I like to keep around because it's freaking Charizard. I don't care if it's not that great of a attacker. You know, and I'd use the Lugia I already have for my champ raids. So, but like looking at it, the Fire Blast Ho-Oh, better than Lugia. This is Sky Attack Lugia. You know, but Brave Bird, kind of a little bit less. This amount of distance, they're basically the same, in my opinion. So they're kind of more on par. You know, the two, you know, Gen 2 mascots, when it comes to fighting a grass-type Pokemon, they're kind of even if they're both using flying-type moves, but Fire Blast makes it better. Yeah. So, if people are using Ho-Oh, I don't know, I guess I wouldn't really suggest changing the charge move for the situation, but Fire Blast is a bit better here for Victory Bell, right? So, I'd say, as a grass-type counter, I'd definitely say Moltres above the both of the birds, right? And then Lugia and Ho reasonably kind of on par, even though Fire Blast does do a little bit better. Dragonite is kind of outperforming them a little bit. So, what can be said? You know, maybe Lugia and Ho should just stick to what they do best, and that's Machamp, right? It also is good against Poliwrath, you know, another fighting type Pokemon. Fighting water, though, right? Well, Poliwrath has a counter dynamic punch set. And it also does well against the Ice Punch sets too, but I didn't mold a graph off of that. So yeah, so looking here, you got Mewtwo with Confusion and Mewtwo Shadow Ball leading the charge. And then you're following up with your Psychic Executors. Makes sense. Zapdos, you know, pretty big here. And then you've got Ho-Oh with Solar Beam being kind of tied with Dragonite. Yeah, Ho-Oh with Solar Beam. Better than Ho-Oh with Brave Bird. Brave Bird is just that poor of a move, you know what I mean? So, Solar Beam, right? But yeah, Brave Bird Ho-Oh, once again, on par with Lugia. So, as like flying type DPS is concerned, Ho-Oh and Lugia are once again kind of on par. Kind of interesting how it's turning out because it seemed like the 9% nerf was arbitrary, but I wonder if it was like kind of like calculated, like Ho-Oh will only surpass Lugia in very few situations, and that's why we did it. I don't know. I don't think Ho-Oh with the 9% back, you know, the buffed Ho-Oh, the OG Ho-Oh, wouldn't be that much better, but yeah, so got Raikou up here too, you know, so I'm not saying like power up a Ho-Oh so you can fight Poliwrath because Executor is doing it way better. So, and Dragonite's also kind of doing it better. So yeah, but this is a situation where Ho does have some swag, and you can compare it to Lugia here, and yeah, so, and then there's also Tyranitar, oddly enough, that it has a good matchup against, yeah, Tyranitar. Wouldn't expect it, but there is that Iron Tail Fire Blast set. It also performs similarly against Bite Fire Blast, and I didn't make a graph for it, but Crunch, kind of a no-go there for Ho-Oh. You really want Machamp for the Crunch set. But yeah, looking at the Iron Tail Fire Blast set, as far as non-Machamp and Poliwrath options go, you know, not the best of the best. Ho-Oh is kind of on par with everything else, you know? So, like, Iron Tail Fire Blast, as good as Vaporeon, you know, as good as Rhydon in this specific, you know, matchup. So that's like another weird area where Ho-Oh has some swag. Yeah, but this is even with extra sensory now. We're getting some weird territory. This is Steel Wing with Solar Beam. You know, like as irrelevant, you know, as far as what, you know, Ho-Oh would suggest it would be. And this definitely leads us to a really like strange situation with Ho-Oh, where it's like which moveset is the best moveset? You know, like, oh, well, if you got Steel Wing with Solar Beam, well, then it's good against Poliwrath. But if you've got Extra Sensory with Brave Bird, well, then it's, like, really good against Machamp. If you've got Extra Sensory with Fire Blast, well, now it's performing better against Grass-type Pokemon. But if you have Extra Sensory with Solar Beam, well, then it's doing better against Poliwrath. So it's like, which moveset is the best moveset for the Ho-Oh? And I definitely have to say that it's Extra Sensory Brave Bird, just based purely on the fact that it's the most useful against Machamp, right? So yeah, Ho definitely beats down on it there. Another thing that I kind of left out, oh man, I should go back to screen share. One other situation where Ho has some swag. This is some stupid stuff too, so like, well, just kind of like entertainment value right now. Don't take this too seriously, and please don't power up Ho for this, but... Alright, so you got Ho-Oh, right? You got this big bird. This is Pokebattler. If you don't know about Pokebattler, it's the best like simulator for this game. Lets you know what's good. I use it for like everything. So say you're using Steel Wing, right? You're getting extra crazy here. As far as neutral damage goes, Fire Blast and Solar Beam are actually about the same, even though Fire Blast gets stabbed. It's Solar Beam's that good. On the other hand, Fire Blast is kind of that bad. Like, I mean, as far as Pokemon that got like shafted for move pools, like Ho-Oh is like el numero uno, right? Gyarados can go cry somewhere else. At least it, you know, gets Hydro Pump, and Bite's not even that bad. But yeah, no. So yeah, Fire Blast is so bad, or Solar Beam is so good that they're even. So let's go with Solar Beam. We're getting all counterintuitive here. And for Blissey, for the Blissey, we have Blissey. For the Gym Defender, right? We got Blissey. Now we got the Zen Headbutt, got the Dazzling Gleam, and right now it's got this Raid Boss setting on, so I'm gonna just rid it. So okay, so you're facing this level 40 Blissey with Zen Headbutt, Dazzling Gleam, the most intimidating Blissey to you know, like, man, you showed up to the gym at the wrong time if you gotta fight this thing. Battle. What happens? This is a no dodge simulation, right? Well, holy jeez. Well, holy jeez. Look at that. Like, it barely, like, it reasonably could defeat this Blissey before fainting, right? Now, I'm not going to go back and forth between every single level because I know it's generally around level 35, right? Level 35, whoa, without dodging. Without dodging, you don't care about these Dazzling Gleams. These Dazzling Gleams do not phase you. You want to know why they don't phase you? Because, boom, look at that. Ho-Oh is, from what I have seen, the only Pokemon that can defeat a level 35 Blissey with Zen Headbutt and Dazzling Gleam without dodging. Right? Oh, look at that. 2 HP left. So... you know, you're not even fighting level 35 Blisseys. Typically, they're more demotivated, or people are putting in the very low level ones so they can have the CP decay at a slower rate. So Ho-Oh can just come in and truck the heck out of these Blisseys, you know? But this is with Steel Wing Solar Beam. And so which moveset's the best moveset? Well, let's say you're using the Brave Bird one with Extra Sensory. You know, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the Reddit post now. Yeah, it's gonna happen, guys. The Reddit post. Somebody's gonna go on the Sylph Road and they're gonna type in GamePress has the moveset wrong, and then they're gonna get their little 5 cents about how Extra Sensory Brave Bird is actually the lowest neutral DPS Ho-Oh moveset, right? So, once again, I'm repping Extra Sensory and Brave Bird because it's most useful against Machamp, which is the only situation I can reasonably advise it in. But if you do want to use Ho-Oh as a gym attacker, Extra Sensory Brave Bird, I mean, it's not level 35, you know? I also did this ahead of time. It can do it against level 32. So that's something, right? Yeah, it can do it against level 32. So, hey, Ho-Oh, not a lot of people can do that, right? Oh, well, actually, Entei can. I think Moltres can too. But I know for a fact that Entei can. So, if you have a big old fire doggo instead, yeah, then he's doing it. So, I mean, then Ho-Oh's not even special then. Why the heckin' dang are you using Ho-Oh? And look at it's doing it way faster too, so I mean, if you really want to have the elite neutral DPS Ho-Oh, and you really do want to survive Blissey without dodging of a higher level range than you could experience with other Pokemon against Dazzling Gleam, well then you're going to be doing it with Ho-Oh better than anything else, right? But I guess Entei's okay. I mean, level 32 Blissey though, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. Oh man. So yeah, bring it all together, you know, Ho-Oh, you know, big old Raid Birdo. Now, as far as how Ho-Oh goes in the meta, you know, how does it size up against Moltres? How does it size up against Lugia? You know, it's kind of, you know, everybody's got their own kind of little job that they're doing, you know. So as far as jobs that Moltres excels in, which is fighting, grass type Pokemon, right? As far as fighting grass type Pokemon and as fighting bugs goes, definitely better than Ho-Oh there. Moltres better than Ho-Oh. I didn't do a graph with Scyther because it actually would time out against Scyther in a lot of simulations. So is it like really worth talking about Ho-Oh being a potential Scyther counter if its TDO is already lower than Moltres's and it often times out? So yeah, so as a fire type attacker, Ho, you know, not really covering it. As far as flying type DPS goes, being a flying type Pokemon with the Brave Bird, you know, it's kind of on more even footing with Lugia, right? So they're kind of more even, you know. But where it really counts is that Machamp raid, and against all Machamps, you know, Lugia's doing it better, like way better, especially against the fighting type move ones. But when it comes to Heavy Slam, Ho-Oh does have that niche advantage, and overall, you know, Ho-Oh is a good enough Machamp counter where it would be reasonable to prepare a Ho-Oh to fight Machamp if you don't have Lugia, because Lugia is going to be doing it way better for all the different movesets. But if you don't have Lugia, then Ho-Oh's good. Overall, I definitely, unless you're like just dripping with Stardust and what's it called? Candy and rare candy, like, I'd say don't waste it on Ho-Oh. Wait for Gen 3, wait to see how the meta changes, and then, you know, try to make judgments about what you're gonna spend your Stardust and candy on, you know? Like, I'm trying to be, you know, reasonable here, give you that word of caution, because, like, Ho-Oh really isn't that great, right? It's, And then another weird consideration, too, with the Brave Bird moveset is that if the Pokemon has a weakness to fire or grass, you know, then Fire Blast and Solar Beam come in and kind of make the, you know, the Brave Bird look irrelevant. As we saw with the Blissey situation, you know, it's Steel Wing and Solar Beam or Fire Blast are definitely helping it reach like new heights and damage that Brave Bird and Extra Sensory really can't touch on too well. So as far as like making a judgment goes, like a generalized statement about which moveset is the best for Ho-Oh, yeah, it's kind of difficult. I think everyone's going to have their own sort of perspective on it. You're going to see a lot of conflicting information. I influence Game Press, so Game Press will say it one way, you know, and then like I don't know if GoHub rank. I don't even know the other websites that well. You know, I'm pretty tunnel visioned here. But I think other websites might spin it differently. I think there's like a IV checking app that also tells you, it also grades the movesets kind of. And I was seeing that like Extrasensory Brave Bird was like B, C, you know what I mean? Like not that good. And so I imagine that's probably ranking the Steel Wing ones with Solar Beam and Fire Blast a bit better because, you know, it's got that higher neutral DPS. But in my opinion, if you're going to power up Ho-Oh and you're going to use it for things, you're going to want the Extrasensory Brave Bird one because of its relevant matchup, that advantage that it has against Machamp. That's my reasoning for it. Now, somebody comes in and they're like, well, Steel Wing and Solar Beam actually has higher neutral damage, and Extrasensory and Brave Bird is the worst moveset, so you're spinning lies. Well, hey, my perspective on what the best moveset is based off of the Machamp raid, because that's the only situation I'd really see someone using a Ho-Oh in. Unless, of course, they want to get that maximum lazy tapping my screen, not watching Blissey, not dodging nothing swag against higher level iterations of Blissey than other Pokemon can handle like that, then Ho-Oh rises to the occasion with Steel Wing and Solar Beam. So yeah. So that's it. That's that.